Good day, everyone. First and foremost, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Michael C. Flores, taking a Bachelor of Secondary Education major in Mathematics. Today, I am going to share to you one of the proponents of a particular philosophical foundation of education named John Dewey. John Dewey held a child-centered approach to education and preferred an interdisciplinary curriculum. We are going to explore the impact and theory of John Dewey and learn about his biography and views on how he reformed education and emphasized teacher importance. John Dewey is nothing less than a rock star of modern education. His ideas and approaches to schooling were revolutionary ideas during his lifetime and remain fundamentally important to modern schooling today. In this video, we will take a brief look at the background of John Dewey, as well as more in-depth look at his educational philosophies and ideals. When we're done, you should be able to describe John Dewey, but more importantly, you should be able to identify his philosophy in action. Dewey graduated in bachelor's degree from the University of Vermont in 1879. After receiving a doctorate in philosophy from Johns Hopkins University in 1884, he began teaching philosophy and psychology at the University of Michigan. There, his interest gradually shifted from the philosophy of George Wilhelm Friedrich Hegel to the new experimental psychology being advanced in the United States by G. Stanley Hall and the pragmatist philosopher and psychologist William James. Further study of child psychology prompted Dewey to develop a philosophy of education that would meet the needs of changing democratic society. In 1894, he joined the Faculty of Philosophy at the University of Chicago, where he further developed his progressive pedagogy in the university's laboratory schools. In 1904, Dewey left Chicago for Columbia University in New York City, where he spent the majority of his career and wrote his most subsequent writing, which included articles in popular periodicals, treated topics in aesthetics, politics, and religion. The common theme underlying Dewey philosophy was his beliefs that democratic society of informed and engaged inquiries was the best means of promoting human interest. Dewey developed a metaphysics that examined characteristics of nature that encompassed human experience but were either ignored by or misrepresented by more traditional philosophers. Three such characteristics, what he called the precarious, histories, and ends, were central to his philosophical project. John Dewey is probably most famous for his role in what is called progressive education. Progressive education is essentially a view of education that emphasizes the need to learn by doing. Dewey believed that human beings learn through a hands-on approach. This places Dewey in the educational philosophy of pragmatism. The particular version of pragmatism, which he called instrumentalism, is the view that knowledge results from a discernment of correlations between events or processes of change. Inquiry requires an active participation in such processes. The inquirer introduces specific variations in them to determine what differences thereby occur in related processes and measures how a given event changes in relation to variation in associated events. Pragmatists believe that reality must be experienced. From Dewey's educational point of view, this means that students must interact with their environment in order to adapt and learn. Dewey felt the same idea was true for teachers, that teachers and students must learn together. His view of the classroom was deeply rooted in democratic ideals, which promoted equal voice among all participants in the learning experience. Dewey's pragmatic and democratic approach to schooling may not stand out as radical today, but in the early and middle 900s, his view of education was in contradiction to much of the then present system of schooling. Dewey's approach was truly child-centered. A child-centered approach to education places the emphasis of learning of the needs and interests of the child. In Dewey's view, children should allowed to explore their environments. He believed in interdisciplinary curriculum or a curriculum that focuses on connecting multiple subjects, where students are allowed to freely move in and out of the classroom as they pursue their interests and construct their own paths for acquiring and applying knowledge. The role of the teacher in this setting would be to serve more as a facilitator than an instructor. In Dewey's view, the teacher should observe the interest of the students, observe the direction they naturally take, and then serve as someone who help develop problem-solving skills. Traditionally, a teacher would stand in front of a group of students who are all sitting in rows. Teacher is usually the deliverer of the information, and the job of the students is usually to receive this information and regurgitate it in some form of a written test. In contrast, in a classroom based on the ideas of John Dewey, you may see a teacher deliver background content information, but you would also likely see students working in groups, with those groups exploring differing concepts within the content. Dewey did address us, it is in philosophy of democracy, which he referred to as democracy as a way of life. Dewey conceived a democracy as an active process of social planning and collective action in all spheres of common life. Democracy is also a source of moral values that may guide the establishment and evolution of social institutions that promote human flourishing. However, unlike other moral frameworks, democracy as a way of life is neither absolutist nor relativistic, because its norms and procedures are fallible and experimental. It is a consciously collaborative process in which individuals consult with each other to identify and address their common problems. Indeed, Dewey spoke of democracy as social intelligence within a fully democratic society. Dewey suggested people would treat each other with respect and would demonstrate a willingness to revise their views while maintaining a commitment to cooperative action and experimental inquiry. I hope you get knowledge coming from me. Thank you for watching.